Welcome to We Are Soccer, the show that talks about pro soccer, youth soccer, and everything in between. I'm your host, Craig Hearn. And Nate is back in the house. Nate, what's going on, buddy? All good?
I am all good. Back from my worldly travels of Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. What was in Cincinnati again?
The world.
The World, or the World Cup qualifying.
Yes, it was. It was cold.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was freezing. I had to buy a $100 UFC sweatshirt because it was freezing.
Had to.
Yeah, no, I know, not joking. Middle of half, I went down to the middle area because I was so cold and I was hoping to warm up, and I didn't, and there was no heat there.
Yep.
And I went, I can't do another 45 minutes like this. I need a sweatshirt. And I went up and I was like, okay, I'll take that one, $100. I'm like,
strategically priced.
yeah.
Yep.
I was like, because I did not want to buy a $100 sweatshirt. This is a nice sweatshirt. I mean, it feels good on the inside.
Yeah,
but,
and kept you warm.
It did actually change that dramatically, but yeah.
Well,
they got me.
Also,
they got me.
What warmed you up must have been that nice win for USA over Mexico.
Well, yeah, because I was on the side where all the goals were scored, so...
There you go, man. There you go.
Got the bang for my dollar on that one.
There you go. Love it. All right, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot more today. Before we jump in, I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Tim Merritt with Ross Mortgage, Michigan Jaguars FC, and Aaron Bird and Next Level. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys being with us and supporting We Are Soccer. All right, let's jump in. Lots to get to. World Cup qualifying. That was 2 weeks ago. The USA then go down to Jamaica. And I don't want to say this shit to bed, but 1-1 is not a result we were hoping for.
I mean, okay, yeah, everyone hopes that they never lose a game, but, I mean, that's not reality. Sometimes you drop points, and if you're going to drop points, at least you didn't get no points, and at least it was an away game. I think you got to be more concerned is when you drop points at home.
Absolutely. I think just after the performance that we had against Mexico in a dominating performance, it was dominating. We dominated possession, we dominated passing, we dominated chances, creating chances. Obviously, the 2-0, 2-0 win. I think we were just all expecting us to keep going right along in that path. And for the first 20 minutes, it didn't quite seem that way, but then we got a nice goal from Timmy Weah, a very nice goal. We thought, okay, here we go. The goal spurs on, and we'll get back on that train. And then it was downhill, and that was a heck of a shot by Mikel Antonio to beat Stefan from 35 yards out.
It was a good shot.
Yeah.
I mean, the question where the player was to close him down to prevent such a shot like that. We also, we were without McKennie that game. I think he's vital. We were out Robinson, which I think he's vital. My only disappointing part of that game is the fact that when you look at our forwards, there isn't a different forward, if you will. Like that again, this is where I look at a game like that, where you had corners, lots of corners at the end. Where what if you had a DK in there, a Hop, or someone a big, powerful striker, maybe not to start, but someone to rotate Pepe out to change a strategy, and yet. We don't have one, or we're not calling one in.
Right. And
I don't understand why. You know what I mean? I think we have different field players around there. I think there's a difference between, Acosta versus Adams. They're different type of players, and Adams versus McKennie, and Aronson versus Adams. You got different players in and around there that can change the game up, and you can change strategy a little bit. Even on the back line, I think we have different players, but it doesn't seem like we have different types of forwards where it's basically the same type and the same strategy. And again, I don't get the logic there.
Right.
Especially when there's ones that are available. I mean, you got even Peacock who's out there.
Right.
Why not?
It seems that Greg Berhalter's found his players and he's going with them, and that's what he's sticking with, and he doesn't change it up. He doesn't. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I'm just not quite 100% sure. It was a little bit disappointing to finish on that note, though, right?
Yeah.
1-1 against Jamaica. We were all expecting 3 points. 3 points from Jamaica. That would have put us number one position, clear direction of where we're going. We're qualifying.
I guess
now there's just a little bit of a marginal
I guess my priorities are different. I don't care about first, second, or third. Just
Qualify.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's great if Canada wants to draw their way to a World Cup success or to qualify success. It's fine.
Right.
You know, but you can't do that. You know,
Right.
come actual game time. So. That's their strategy to want to do it, and it seems to be, because if you look at their wins versus our wins, it's relatively close, you know. But they're just drawing their way into qualification because personally, I think they're scared to play.
Well, then,
I don't think they have the talent. I
think Canada's a lot better than what they were, and then
they were, a lot better than they were. But I don't think they have the talent that they think they have. And if they actually play an open game, I think they get destroyed.
They play a very smart game.
Yeah.
They do not come out and play. They sit
that.
back and they counterattack because they have speed on the wings. They do a really nice job of that.
They're one injury away every time they play. They're one injury away from being a very mediocre team.
Absolutely.
Very
You're
mediocre
100% correct. With all that being said, Mexico went up there and played in what we're calling now the Isteka Bowl because it was like negative 10 degrees, snow everywhere.
Am I the only one who's getting sick of these things?
No. Yes, I think you are actually.
But
I love the names.
Okay, I mean the names are cute
Yeah.
and it is kind of neat. But honestly, actually, I didn't think anything. At the end of the day, the field quality there wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. The problem is it was the Astro grass, right? It wasn't real grass because of the temperatures up there. FIFA allows them to play on that type of field, and there's not very many countries in the world that are allowed to play on that type of field.
Right, and that's my point. I mean, CONCACAF, I think, needs to step in and set standards for everyone.
Yep.
And that means, hey, if you go to TNT and the left-hand corner looks like a pond, you know, you got to fix it. You got to do something. They need to have some type of standards, and that's my problem, and that's what I mean. Are we done with this year? Because, you know, it's all fun and games until it's being done to you.
Right.
You know, and really, do we want our conference to be the conference of, you know, hey, they got out because of gamesmanship,
right?
Or not because of quality, you know, the better team.
And that's been going on in CONCACAF for years, right? And you're right, it's terrible.
What is it going to be? And, I mean, honestly, legit, I don't think the field conditions were as bad as it was when we won in Colorado and there was literally snow in the field and you couldn't see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a bit
how they let that game go on.
Yeah. And that's my point. And then you got the shoes on the other foot too, and that's why we do it, and that's why Canada does it, and everyone knows why it's going on. But that's to my point. When is the responsible adult going to step in and say, hey, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to set some type of standards.
With your argument there, you're asking for a responsible adult, which would then be FIFA.
It'd be CONCACAF.
It would be CONCACAF, but I think
they
FIFA overrules everything. I think FIFA could step in, but FIFA's not going to because they don't care.
And I don't expect FIFA
to.
I expect the regional bodies to step in and say, hey, we're going to set some standards here, and this is how we're going to play.
Yep.
You know, and I don't care that South America doesn't or whatever. I'm asking for us to be better and set standards so we know that the best team goes to the World Cup out of our area, not the team that put in enough obstacles on their home field to then propel themselves to a victory.
A lot would argue that's exactly like setting yourself up on the field to sit back, park the bus, and break out on counterattacks.
That's different.
That's within the game.
That's within the game.
I get it.
I
get it. I think I like the little gamesmanship that gets played. I like the fact that Columbus has been picked because of the cold weather.
Yeah.
But then when you see it taken to the extreme of all the snow on the field and the ice, that's when it needs to be called off.
Altitude is one thing.
Yep.
Okay. Fans, distractions is one thing.
Yep.
Field conditions that are not appropriate to play in is exactly what I'm talking about. Fields that aren't the right size. Fields that aren't really soccer fields.
Yep.
This is what I'm talking about. Not all that other stuff. You want to play in 100-degree heat, hey, sorry, both teams have to play it, figure it out.
Right.
But if you're playing on a field that prevents a team to actually play the game, that turns into an issue.
Right, absolutely. With all that being said, that field the other night wasn't in that bad a condition.
No, it wasn't.
I couldn't believe how good a condition that field was actually in because, they had a snowstorm for the last 2 nights. It was ice, and they did a great job getting that field up to play.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, no, admittedly, that field was not... at the end of the day, they got it cleared, and it wasn't as bad as I think everyone thought it to be. I thought it was actually... When the game got underway, I thought it was fine to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought it was fine playing throughout. Really.
Yeah, and the only thing that affected the Mexican team was the cold weather, which, that's just natural.
I think they played scared.
They played a little scared. I agree. They played timid, but for some reason, they just couldn't get the ball forward and create enough chances in that first half.
They did when their back was against the wall.
Yep.
That last 10
the
minutes,
last 10 minutes.
They nailed Canada back in.
Yep.
And they could have had a couple. And that's what I mean by if they played like that the whole game.
Oh, would have been a completely different game.
I think the loss to the USA rattled them.
Absolutely.
Too. I mean, they lost it the third time, losing to USA in a major competition is not a good sign. And I think it rattled them for this game. I think had they played Canada first before us, I think it would have been much different outcome. To be honest with you,
I 100% agree with you there. The final in that that Mexico visiting Canada game was 2-1. And like you said, that last 10 minutes that was some fun soccer to watch, man. And Canada reverted to some of the dark arts. They were flopping. They were going down with some. They had to, absolutely had to. The ball went in the back of the net, and they held the ball. They threw it away to waste time. They did whatever they could to hang on.
Mexico had that one moment where it was an inch. That ball was an inch from going in and tying that game.
Yep.
And they had to. They went to punt clear. Everyone in the box. Hold on for dear life, dear God. You know what I mean? Like they had to.
And it was fun to watch though. They did what they had to do. They came out with a big victory, and now they move into first place in the divisions.
Yeah, that'll be like for another 10 minutes. At
least 2 months, but yes.
But that goes to my point of the Canadian team. I don't mean to. Well, I do mean to bash Canada, but that's just kind of my point there. Is I don't think they have the talent, to really maintain that first spot. I don't think the U.S. does either. I really do. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be Mexico, U.S., Canada, that order right there. First, second, third.
Yeah, I think it'll fall back into that order.
And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that as well.
I'm fine with that. It's to me it's fine. So there's nothing wrong with it. And that fourth spot, I don't know.
Panama.
Sure.
Why not? Right. It's whoever can duel it out for that spot. Agreed.
So, but Jamaica actually has been a little bit of disappointing, in my opinion, with some of the talent and players they have.
Absolutely. Yeah, they got some decent players.
I would expect that Jamaica to fill that fourth spot. I mean, I think they're almost too far out of reach, but with Leon Bailey and some of these guys, I think they've actually been the disappointment of the tournament because if I look and run that squad up and down, I don't think they're too far off from that Canada squad.
I can't argue with you there, man. I absolutely 100% agree with the players that they have. I thought they were going to be the team that finished fourth, and absolutely, they've been very disappointing.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, with that, with the conclusion of the World Cup qualifying rounds for November, every team in the world just went through 2 games. We have an updated list of who makes it into the world, who's qualified. So Qatar, obviously.
What?
I know, crazy. How did they get in?
Those folks, they're very nice.
Yeah. Don't say anything wrong about Qatar. You never know.
No, but I did when I was outside in Austin.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
they qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Because of those countries.
My homies.
Yeah.
Qatar.
More of your homies, Germany.
Yeah.
They have now qualified.
That was your ever in doubt?
No, that was never in doubt. No. Denmark have qualified. Brazil have qualified. Belgium have qualified. France, Croatia, Spain, Serbia, Switzerland, England, the Netherlands, and Argentina.
You said that last one wrong.
It's coming home?
No, the last one. The second to last one. It's not Netherlands. It's Louis van Gaal's Netherlands.
Louis van Gaal's
army.
Louis van Gaal.
He likes to play horny football.
Football. Oh my! Did you see he fell off his bike and broke his hip the other day?
Yeah, he was in the picture with the Netherlands team in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, what happened to Van Gaal?
Yeah, he broke his hip falling off a bicycle.
Oh Man,
Yeah.
those Europeans and their bicycles.
I know, those silly Europeans.
So which team other than England? You have to pick one of them. Other than England.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, because, no, we are, then we'll know what, it's like saying which team's your favorite team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know? Which team other than England are you most excited to see?
Most excited to see
excited to see that they qualified.
That's already qualified?
Yeah.
I'm really happy Denmark has qualified. They've been through, and I don't think they've lost a game in qualifying. They were the first team to qualify. France were bound to qualify. They're going to bring.
Yep.
They're always fun to watch in the World Cup, right? Because of the amount of players and that they have. Germany, obviously, very entertaining team to watch play the big games. And I mean, I hate to say it, but Argentina. I want to see Messi. This will be his last. This is guaranteed to be his last World Cup.
There's no guarantees in life.
Well, this is true. If he makes it, and they've got Martinez, the Villa goalie. So I'm happy to see Argentina get in there. Besides that, it's rounding out nicely the 32 teams. So,
I would go the same. Like Denmark, I think.
Yeah.
Like Denmark, obviously I have to take Germany out of there, so I'd replace my Germany at the England comment. But I think Denmark is a very interesting squad.
Yep.
I like a lot of the players on there. I like them in the Euros.
Yeah.
And I'd throw Serbia in there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just a bunch of Serbians running around on the field kicking people, which I imagine that's what they do.
So let's jump in and talk about this. I was going to save this story for a little later. Let me see if I can put this picture up here. On the screen, you guys are seeing a picture of the Serbian national team celebrating. I'll read a quick thing here. Serbia's president, Aleksandar Vučić, promised the Serbian national team a €1 million bonus if they beat Portugal in Lisbon this past week and earned direct qualification to the World Cup. They won. They won the game, so they directly qualified to the World Cup, which is awesome. And they won the money from the presidents, the €1 million. But the awesome thing is, after they won, the Serbian national team all voted and they donated the money to help sick children back in their home country. That's just a really cool thing. I mean, granted, a lot of them are on big wages and play for big teams around the world. So
that million divided up by 24 people.
Sure, isn't a lot, but it's a nice gesture as well. And I'm hoping the president kicked in a little bit more money.
So where is the president money? Is it his personal pocket or is it taxed?
You know what?
Because I hate to say it, if you really kind of switch this around a little bit, not to get all political, but basically what you're saying is the government took tax dollars, gave it to the players, who then turned around and basically gave it back to the people that they likely taxed.
I went down that road and I thought about looking into it.
It was nuts.
Yeah, and then I went, you know what? The sick children of Serbia got €1 million.
Sorry, this is Jade and Nate came out. Sorry.
You did the exact same thing I would do, but I was like, you know what? We're just going to go with the sick children of Serbia in hospital got some money.
Would it be cool if the president somehow is a multimillionaire, and somehow
donated his own money?
That would have been cool. Let's just go with that.
Let's go with that.
Very generous.
All right. Other big news that broke this week was NBC Sports are retaining the U.S. viewing rights to the English Premier League. So, just so everybody's aware, major media outlets here in the USA were asked to bid for the next 6 years on what they would pay to show the rights, or to have the rights to show the English Premier League. They've made all these bids, closed and sealed bids to the English Premier League. The English Premier League received 6 bids that they liked. They asked those 6 outlets to come back and do another, give us your biggest and best offer. The likes of Disney, which was ESPN, Amazon, CBS, and a host of others were all bidding on this. NBC won with a price of $2.7 billion. So NBC paid $2.7 billion for the rights to host through 2026. It's a 6-year deal. From the We Are Soccer group that we have, there's a lot of folks that are split on this. It seems 50% of us, and I'll say us because I like this. I like that NBC does this. I think they do a very good job. Yes, they'll put everything will go to Peacock and the other channels and whatever. I know a lot of you folks over there.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping for the ESPN Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought Amazon was going to win
Let
it.
me retract that. I was hoping for ESPN Disney or Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I can explain why in a second.
Okay, well, go for it.
All right,
let
are
us
you
know.
a fan of English soccer?
I am definitely a fan of English soccer.
Okay. So do English teams play in the Champions League?
They do.
And the Europa League?
Yes, they do.
And that's on what?
Paramount Plus.
And how much is that?
I don't know what I pay for that.
Okay.
It's like $4.99.
$4.99. $5. Let's
Yep.
round up. Okay,
Yep.
$5. And are you a fan of the FA Cup and the English League Cup?
Yep, I am.
And that's on what?
That's on ESPN, isn't it?
Plus, yes.
Yep.
And so you pay another $5 for that.
$4.99, yep.
Okay. There you go. And so now you want to watch your league games.
Now I'm going to have to pay another $4.99 for Peacock.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's my point. Is I would have rather seen this go to either of those. I do prefer ESPN Plus because I do think they do it a little bit better.
You just wanted to see Taylor Twellman commentating on all these games.
Yes. No, you're assuming that the commentary staff that are likely being paid,
they would have
per
shifted.
game,
Yeah,
they would have shifted.
They would have
okay?
shifted. Absolutely.
You're assuming they wouldn't. I assume they would shift. ESPN Plus, I think, does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
They already have a lot of stuff. That's why I said there. But at the end, I wanted to see it go from off of a third paid streaming service onto one of the other two that already have all the other stuff. Because right now, I think the market is too split with all these things. And then if you're a fan of the game, you're forced to get one of the three. Now, someone keeps telling me, oh, well, ESPN Plus, it's going to go up in money. One, you don't know that. Two, explain to me how Peacock isn't going to go up from $5 to whatever it's going to go up now. So it naturally would have gone up anyways. And by the way, that's a tack on to whatever it is.
Yep.
If ESPN Plus would have gone up, it likely would have been relatively neutral to what you're paying for Peacock, if at all that high, right? Because they've brought in a lot of stuff outside of soccer and have never changed their place because they got Disney money. They go, new Marvel franchise, Mandalorian, here you go, part 3, and they just make it up. So it's to push. They would do it to push their streaming service. So my issue is the splitting. Even if you're just forget all the other ones. If you're just an English fan and you want to watch, let's say, Man City. Okay, if you want to watch a team outside of the ones I don't like, at all three competitions, I would have said United, but route. So if you want to, you have to get 3 streaming networks.
Yes.
So and that's where I find that to be problematic. Or you be like me, and because of principle, you refuse to get Peacock TV and just say, well, if one of the games are on there, whatever. But you know what's going to happen because Peacock's already said that having the Premier League on their network is a vital part of pushing the streaming network because outside of that, and I guess if you're a fan of Saved by the Bell or something
there's
like that,
nothing
there
else
is
on.
nothing else on there. So they're going to throw more games on that. I can almost guarantee it. They're gonna want to try to push more people on there, and that means less games on public TV. Where ESPN, I don't think would have done the same.
Yep.
I think they would have had their exclusive games either on ESPN Plus or Hulu, and they would have had regular stuff still on the cable network.
So regular ESPN. I'm going to agree with you 100%. But as we know, this comes down to money. 100% comes down to money. The English Premier League pretty much just went, as long as someone has the rights and whoever's willing to pay the most money, we're going to give it to you. Yeah. We don't care about anything else. And honestly, nor should they. Their job is to get as much money as they can to their teams.
And I'm so sure that nobody leaked any information out to NBC going, hey, we're hearing bids around $2 million, so you got to make this over $2 million.
Make this in the high twos.
Got to be a high twos. I'm sure that never happened at all. I'm sure it was completely blind, and there was no information ever leaked out. Right?
I'm going to go with the system. I'm going to say it was legit. No, it was absolutely not. Yeah. We all know it was absolutely not.
Just like I'm sure the Serbian president used only his personal money to give to the national team.
Well, starting in 2022, you'll have to get Peacock to watch English Premier League games.
Or be like Nate and just angrily not watch the game.
Doesn't sound like a good option for me. Well, speaking of English Premier League games, those fired back up this weekend, and we got a host of games going on today. Chelsea visit Leicester. Brighton Hove Albion visit Aston Villa with their new manager, Steven Gerrard. Crystal Palace at Burnley. Brentford, Newcastle. Southampton versus Norwich with their new manager, Dean Smith. Manchester United today. Who's new manager?
Manchester United?
No, you wish. No. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is at the wheel, my friend. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer visits, and his Man United visit Watford today at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Easy draw.
That should be an easy draw for Watford, you're right. West Ham, who are in the top four at the moment, go to Wolverhampton Wanderers at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then the big game of the day today, Arsenal versus Liverpool. Arsenal have closed the gap, and in their last 10 games, 8 wins, 2 draws.
Yeah, they're probably up for a Liverpool smacking.
Yep. Liverpool coming back off of an international break. A lot of their players are out playing.
Right. Arsenal doesn't have good players, but they're going.
They got a couple. But I think there's more Liverpool players. I think Arsenal do visit Liverpool. I do expect Liverpool to get the win there. Yeah. But Arsenal have been in very good form. Lost the first 3 games in the season. Mikel Arteta under big pressure, is on the hot seat. And then the last 10 games in all competitions, won 8, drawn 2. They are up into the top half of the table and doing really well. Yeah. So that's going to be a good game. Tomorrow we have Everton visiting Manchester City and Leeds United visiting Tottenham. All right, out of those games, any that stick out to you? Man United, Watford, Brighton Hove Albion, Villa.
Yeah, those are my top 2. my top 2 on the list. I mean, Arsenal, Liverpool. I think that'll be a telling sign for Arsenal to see if if they can squeak out a point. Then maybe they got their stuff together. If they get head pounded, like I think they will, then I guess we know where they're standing. So I think that is for sure the interesting game, and I think the Leeds Tottenham match should be quite interesting as well with what's been going on with Tottenham and to see. And I think Leeds is still is a solid squad still.
Leeds have just had a tough year this year. They need to pick it up a little bit.
But they do have I think they still have a solid squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And those are one of those teams. That is one of those teams where they didn't have if I recall, don't have a ton of players at international breaks, so they could take the time to organize and work on things. And as I'm sure we might talk about later, maybe how an international break, when most of your players or all your players play on international teams, could affect you in a negative way.
Yes, absolutely. We were talking about that in that league shortly.
That's what we call a teaser.
That's what we call a teaser, exactly. Leeds United they have a very small squad. They don't use a ton of players. They've had some injuries. Patrick Bamford, although he hasn't been scoring a ton of goals this season, has been doing very well in hold-up play, and missing him through injury has really hurt Leeds. I'm looking forward to a few of these games. The Leicester-Chelsea game, that should be a good one. But also, again, I'm a huge Villa fan, as we know. And,
what?
I know, crazy.
You are?
I don't know if I've mentioned that before.
Huh.
Weird.
I just thought you're a rap.
Yeah, rap and parking.
And
parking, yes.
You're a big parking rules fan.
Yes. Villa, with their new manager, Steven Gerrard, as I've said, many people have probably heard me say this and write about it. Steven Gerrard was not my first choice.
Huh?
Definitely not my first choice for Villa manager. But the team he brought along with him, his backroom staff, what he's talked about in the press conference, I've kind of bought in a little bit. And yes, you can call me a Villa slappy, but I'm on board with it. And it does take a lot to persuade the Villa board, the CEO, and the owners for someone to take charge of the team like this. He was their first choice. Apparently he blew them away in the interview, and that was it. It was a done deal pretty quick. They threw money at him, and that's what they wanted. He is a person who I've read a lot about his former players who've played for him, and they've said, listen, he gets people playing in the right position. He gets people getting ready to play, and you almost want to go out there and run through a brick wall through him. That doesn't last forever. I get that. He's going to have to really rely on, this is the best league in the world, he's going to have to rely on tactics. He's going to have to rely on what he remembers from the game, and he's been out of the game for a couple of years playing. I'm on board with it now, and I'm going to give him to the end of the season, and if he can get us above where we finished last year, because we do have a solid squad. minus Jack Grealish, who obviously we sold our best player, we do have a solid squad. And if he can get us into that I would say top 7 or 8, I'm on board, and I think it's a great hire. If he can't, hey man, we might have to reevaluate at the end of the year.
I would make an argument there. You can't just give the guy half a season and see how it goes. I don't care who it is.
Agreed.
Because
Agreed.
You don't know. He's coming in. It's not his team. It won't be his team. You gotta at least give him a transfer renewal. January doesn't count.
Yep.
You have to. So I would say, as long as he keeps you guys afloat, I think he's warranted a job back, and not in the absence of doing anything really wacky or crazy.
Yep.
Now I will warn you though. You want to know who else was a good players manager and still kind of is a bit?
Mr. Lampard?
Ole Gunnar
Solskjaer going the opposite direction.
And Lampard.
He's a great manager. What are you talking about? Look, he's at United. He must be good.
I caution the players liked him from a different league and this and that, and you got him going. Okay, I've heard this before, but no, we'll see. I mean, I think it's a kind of, in all seriousness, it's a kind of wait. You got it. All these managers, it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see, and even if they come with massive amount of Premier League experience or this and that, it's always a wait and see because all these guys are crapshoots at the end of the day. You don't know how. You could come with a resume that's as gold can be and end up out in about 3 seconds.
I agree.
So it's all a crapshoot. You guess to the best of your ability and you hope for the best. Is basically what it is. So.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of giving a manager 3 years.
Yeah.
The 3-year mark, you come in. The first year is going to be tough.
Yeah.
We'll turn the team over a little bit. We'll get the players you want in. You work your strategy and your tactics in. Year 2, it needs to be better than year 1. Year 3, that's when we got to see what you've been selling us, right? And we got to see that progression. We got to see a jump.
I think you need, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, you got to show some type of upwards projection.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't consider a half year the first year. I don't. It's like I get this argument all the time with people. Like, oh, he's been there for 4 years. I'm like, I don't consider his half year a full year. That's not his year. You know what I mean? Year 1 starts. Year 1, you get a full transfer window, and you can then, you already assess the players. Because it's going to take him some time to assess players. I'm sure he's been maybe watching film or stuff, but it's going to take a little time to be, because there's always things that you see on camera versus things that you are, versus what you work with and what you have in the locker room and in training and stuff like that. So it's going to take him a minute, right, to say, hey, these guys are my guys, these guys are my future, these guys are not, these guys, you know what I mean? This guy who's playing here, this guy who's playing like this, we're going to change this up. That takes time. Yep. And then by the time you're done doing that, your season's nearly over. Yeah. And then by the time you want to get new players in, you're waiting for the transfer window anyways. Yeah. And that's what not to just using a reference point of Ole, who I thought was warranted of the job up until this year's been a drop off.
Sure.
Not sure why, but because there's always been upward trajectory.
Right. And people forget. People are so quick to forget. Last year he took them up to second.
That's right. And that's my point. You went from the third, which I think that third from 2 years ago was like overachieving because if you look at the other teams, they were better. And then you went from third to second.
Yep.
By the way, repeated Champions League time, which he was the only United coach to do so.
Yep.
And then this year, it's been a trail off. I don't know why. Maybe it's his management skills has finally caught up, but for whatever reason, and that's actually why I think they need to move away from this year, is not because he was never good, is because the upper trajectory then just fell off the cliff.
It fell off.
You know what I mean? So at that point, you got to go, all right, it's not working yet.
I don't think
that's
it's just...
what I take for...
Agreed. The Village, we have, as most clubs do, obviously, at this level, have big ambitions.
No.
So, I know, crazy.
I think a lot of the clubs that come into the Premier League just say, you know what, we're hoping to be back down in the Championship.
Well, there's a lot of clubs who just come in and say, we're not spending any money, we're just gonna hope to stick around in this league for as long as we can, i.e. Norwich.
Ouch.
They didn't spend any money. They spent £10 million.
They bought Dan Sargent. How dare you?
They spent £10 million on Sargent. That's it.
Yeah.
They gave up their. They gave up their best player in Emi Buendia for $30 million, and then bought Sargent.
Yeah.
And no one else.
Comparable replacement.
When you come into the Premiership, you get £100 million by players.
Tell me that wasn't a life? I would say that Sargent was a better pickup. Look at his hair.
I mean, I agree. Wait, no, Buendia has really nice hair. You haven't looked close enough, have you?
Excuse me. Does Bundesliga have a fiery red?
He does not. No,
Exactly.
and not many people do.
Exactly.
I'd be all in just on that. I do want to remind people, jump in on the chat. We'll talk about it.
Grealish, Schmearlish. Give me the kid with the fiery throw.
No one's got that, Barnett. Jump in on the chat. Tell us what you think about managers. Tell us what you think about how long a manager should be given.
Or hair.
Or their hair. I mean, whatever you want. It's fine. Go for it. All right. Let's jump into the other league we love to talk about. Yes. The Farmers League, as Nate calls it. All right.
Farming all those champion leagues.
Yeah. The German Bundesliga started back up yesterday.
Oh.
And the Bundesliga, the league decided to kind of throw Bayern Munich. We know you're coming back off an international break. We'll throw you this kind of softball.
Not too soft.
Not too soft.
You don't want to be totally found out.
Yeah, we don't want to make it look too obvious, so we're not going to.
Oh, we can't do that. That's just no.
Not Kurzi first. No. That's too easy. Give him the next worst team. Go with Augsburg. Yeah, that'll be an easy one. And whoops, banana skin. 2-1 Augsburg.
So
Bayern Munich go down.
This was a derby match. This was a Munich derby. Augsburg's about hour.
The Bavarian derby?
It's a Bavarian derby.
Yeah.
Because Augsburg is in Bavaria. They're about an hour out of Munich.
Yep.
So, when you have a derby match, no matter how good the teams are, all bets are kind of off. However, you would, if you're a betting man, you would put your money, a lot of money, on Munich and go, yeah, they kind of have this in the bag. But apparently, there was a 5-minute span where Augsburg decided to play, score 2 goals, Munich drew 1 back within those 5 minutes, and then Augsburg went, and just played solid defense. And I think we were talking about the stats, for this game, and Munich had dominant possession, like something around the 70-80% possession to Augsburg's 20. The more glaring stat, I think, is 1 corners, which were 18 to Augsburg's 1. There was also then shots on net, which Augsburg had 5 and Stuttgart had close to 20. But then there was pass success rate, successful pass rate. The 128 passes versus Munich's 600 successful passes, which boiled down to, we did the math, in 90 minutes, about 1 successful pass a minute for Augsburg.
Absolutely
right. I'm not an expert of the game, but I'm pretty sure. Ouch. I'm pretty sure that's not a good number to have. Yeah, I think maybe you want 2 successful passes a minute. 60 seconds is a long time.
It's a long time to go without. Man.
Yeah. But then you look at the 2 teams. Augsburg, I don't think, had any players on international duty. I think Munich, darn near, probably had their whole starting squad on some type of international duty. Yeah. All those players play. All their starting 11 play somewhere, so they're all traveling back in. They all got done Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
They had about a day and a half, 2 days to prep. And I think that takes a lot out of a team. Not to use excuses, I think you just factor that into the value there of all these players just getting back in, having to organize and then play a competitive match against the team. It's a factor.
It is. World travel is a factor, and even though these players
versus a team of not even the travel, you got 24 11 guys, whatever, starting 11, who can analyze a game for 2 weeks and plan a strategy against you versus guys who come in and have 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's my point.
I 100% agree, but it also comes down to the fact that it just sounds like Bayern Munich didn't put the ball in the net. They had all the possession, they had all the shots, they created their chances, they created corners. They just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, right? So there's a lot that goes in, but absolutely goes into the factor that these guys are traveling. They're out playing with their national teams, they're different national teams, doing different schemes, different tactics, different positions, and then you come back and you got to jump back in, and it is difficult. Agreed. Plus, like you said, Augsburg had 2 weeks to game plan.
2 weeks to game plan a strategy against, and they did. To me, it's no surprise that they scored within their 2 goals within the first 30 minutes, and then basically packed it in, and that's what they did. And that goalkeeper had monster saves. He had many monster saves within that game.
You need that from your goalkeeper.
One against
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, one against Landowski where he like flicked the ball, spun and hit it, and he just got on the other end of it. And it was he had a couple hell of good saves at the end. But what this actually does, for those who like to criticize things, is it keeps the title race interesting because Dortmund is now sitting 1 point back, just about if they win.
Yep.
And
they play your team of Stuttgart today at 9:30 on ESPN Plus. At home. At home. Dortmund are at home, excuse me.
Oh, so Stuttgart has a chance. I think we have a better way around.
Then you definitely have a chance, yes.
It's sweet, you know.
But you're right. It does.
Yeah,
it keeps the title race open, at least interesting towards the end.
Yep.
And that's the second or third game that the Bayern Munich have lost. Second this year. They've had a tie, I believe, as well. But it shows the other teams in the league that if Augsburg can go and beat them, anybody can.
And Gladbach can. It just takes the strategy and the right players. So, in an ideal world, we're going to have Dortmund win the league and Freiburg win the cup and
Polka
Cup and Munich win the Champions League in there. Or I can stick it to all you people who call it Farms League, and then I'll be happy and celebrate on the internet for days to come.
On the internet for days to come. Best I've heard in a long time. There's a lot of other games going on in the Bundesliga this weekend. Bielefeld are home to Wolfsburg. Leverkusen home to Bochum. Dortmund home to your Stuttgart. Borussia Mönchengladbach home to Greuther Fürth. Hoffenheim home to Leipzig. Union Berlin home to Hertha Berlin. So a little bit of a Berlin derby.
Very historical because both teams were literally separated by a wall. So,
really?
They were because one's east and one's west. And I threw something up there to give you the history on it. Union Berlin had perpetually, up until a few years ago, weren't even in the Premier League due to financial issues and financial struggles. So if you're one of those fans of home supporter built or whatever, Union is literally your team if you look at it because it took supporter-based funds in order to help do what they did. I think at one point the supporters went out and actually helped build or revamp the stadium. So they are very much a supporter-built team from basically because of the side of the wall they're on. And Hertha has always been the one with all the money. So this is kind of an interesting derby. It used to be a very friendship derby because it was the two sides going together. But now it's turned into more of a status thing. One is the community. One is the community club. And one is the global. The global conglomerate money club.
I did see you post that link and that story on We Are Soccer Facebook. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I'm going to now because that's interesting.
There's two interesting videos. One that has a little bit more recent history, and one kind of goes into the deeper history.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and read that. Not to segue away. Remind me. There's Casey Bantle put a link to a documentary that was in the New York Times about a referee on the We Are Soccer Facebook group the other day. It's a 17-minute little documentary. Absolutely brilliant. What a referee in a top-level league goes through and the pressures. So some good stuff on the Facebook group if you guys aren't on there.
Was it the one from Fox Sports?
No.
Okay, because I know Fox Sports did one, which was pretty interesting. Just kind of went through what they have to do and prepare and at a professional level, running beat tests and stuff like that.
No, I want to watch that one. That one with this is a different one. This is in a game and the pressures and the stuff coming through. Very interesting. 17 minutes. Back to the Bundesliga. All right, so for me, the game that sticks out this weekend is clearly the Stuttgart visiting Dortmund.
Yeah,
that's going to be the game of the weekend, right?
It's going to be a good game. I would check out the Berlin derby. And who's Freiburg playing again? I'm sorry, if you can't remember. And I know. What was it? Hertha and Leverkusen should be a good match as well. Anything that Freiburg plays in, to me, Freiburg is just a very interesting team sitting third. Again, they were up until they played Munich. They were one of those teams that didn't lose a single game, so they've only lost to Munich. A lot of ties. So if you're a fan of Canada and you're playing draws, Freiburg's your team.
The reason I wasn't seeing it is they play tomorrow at home to Frankfurt.
Yeah, so that should be a good game as well because Frankfurt is struggling for wins in the league, but manage is managing to be like number one in their
The Champions League is
Europa League.
Champions League and Europa League are clearly easier than the Bundesliga.
Obviously,
Clearly, Frankfurt are proving that.
Yeah. Well,
and so are Bayern Munich, to be honest.
Yeah. And actually, Dortmund, I think, should probably go forward, and Wolfsburg has a strong chance of going forward as well. Unfortunately, Leipzig, I think, is Dunzo in the Champions League, but they were also in PSG and City's group, and I kind of predicted that. But most of the teams in the Europa League, Bundesliga teams in the Europa League, Leverkusen and Frankfurt are set to prime to win their groups as well. So apparently, the Farmers League. When people say Farmers League, they mean farming European trophies or something.
I don't know. I don't understand. I think farming players, whatever it is, but the Bundesliga is such a good league.
Like City doesn't buy anyone from any other teams.
Sterling.
So, I mean, clearly in a league like that, there's not farming at all, where they just pick up different players from like-minded, teams within the league that are good. So,
all right, so
right.
Clearly the Bundesliga is back, the English Premier League is back, but also let's bring it home. There's two domestic leagues here that are playing in the USA. We've got the MLS that are jumping into their playoffs. Those start today. And also, the NWSL Championship game is being played today. The Chicago Red Stars and the Washington Spirit will compete in the 2021 NWSL Championship. It is the league's first title game since 2019 due to COVID-19. And the history will be made either way. Chicago and Washington are both seeking their first championships.
You have to root for Chicago, right?
I don't know. I kind of like
one, right?
Yeah, probably.
So you got to root for
Washington Spirit's a pretty fun team to watch as well.
But they're not our home team.
This is true. Let's go with Chicago. Plus, their uniforms are awesome. The Chicago Red Stars.
Major, if you say Detroit doesn't count as a major metropolitan area because nobody lives there.
So we go with Chicago?
Is it Chicago?
Let's go with Chicago. Yeah. Well, there's also another reason to watch today's game. There's an abundance of U.S. women's national team players on both sides. Lisa Naylor, Julie Ertz, Tierna Davidson are the players for the Red Stars, while Kelly O'Hara, Ashley Sanchez, and Andy Sullivan play for the Spirit. I'm a big fan of Julie Ertz. I think she's an absolutely brilliant player, one of the best players on the U.S. national team. So I will be rooting for Chicago. Because that's who she plays for. The home team. Right. I believe this game is being played down in Louisville. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute, it's women's soccer. I'm telling you what, I've watched a couple of games in the last few weeks, the past couple of months from this league, the NWSL. There's some good competition, man. There's some really good games. It is not women's soccer of 10 years ago. The game has come a long, long way.
It's soccer. As we say, in your, I'm not going to butcher the German word or saying for it, but they are saying there's long league.
Mm-hmm.
And if you love the sport, it doesn't matter what league it is. I mean, you watch it for what you enjoy watching. Whether they're farming or digging oil.
Whatever it may be. Well, that game is on TV today. I believe it's on either NBC Sports or Paramount. One of those. It's on 12 o'clock.
I'm pretty sure that Paramount Plus has the. And another reason why I wanted to see Premier League,
get to there.
One of the other two that already has a bunch of stuff going on.
That's a good point.
Instead of Saved by the Bell episodes.
Yeah, I'm sick of those. The new ones too. The new ones suck.
Yeah, I won't. No.
I won't watch it. I don't like the new ones. Agreed.
Yeah, Peacock's never in sponsorship.
Unintended.
That's okay. We got ESPN Plus.
Unintended on that. Saved by the Bell is a school out of principle. Unintended. I'm gonna guess that. Anyway, so also today starts the MLS Playoffs. The MLS Playoffs. And if you...
we got one of those things going?
We do. We have a bracket challenge going.
I can't wait to lose to Brooks.
Yeah, I got a feeling Brooks is going to win.
He's
smart, man. He knows his MLS. He knows the players. He knows the teams. He knows them inside and out.
I
picked all the underdogs, didn't you?
Picked up favorites. Yeah. Eat that.
And then
went with Seattle at the end.
So you got,
Just because.
Oh, my word. All right, well, I actually have... who do I have winning it? I have Seattle winning it at the end as well.
Yes!
I have Seattle winning.
Does Brooks have Seattle winning it?
No, he does not.
I can't wait to dunk on Brooks' face.
Yeah. So the game that's being played today is Philadelphia Union versus New York Red Bulls. That's going to be an excellent game. I have Philadelphia moving on.
I think I have Philadelphia moving on.
They are the 2nd seed versus the 7th seed. The Red Bulls kind of scraped in there in the end. And the other game that's going on, I believe today, is Sporting Kansas City versus Vancouver. Sporting Kansas City is the 3rd-ranked team. Vancouver's ranked 4th.
I believe I went with Sporting because, in good faith, I can't root for a Canadian team.
I see. Yeah, I get that.
I don't like Tim Hortons.
No?
No.
You prefer Dunkin' Donuts because it's American?
Starbucks is the coffee of America. You know it's right.
I didn't think you were I knew you got Starbucks, but I didn't really think you were a super Starbucks guy. But there you go. All right.
Nothing can compare.
Nothing can compare. You feel like you're about to break out into song. For those of you who are watching right now live, go ahead and find the We Are Soccer wherever you're at. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, find one of our posts that has the bracket challenge in it. It's free. It's easy. It'll take you about 2 minutes to sign up and fill out the challenge. We're giving the winners a $25 Amazon gift card.
And outside of money, it gives you the ability to dunk on others.
That's what Nate likes to do.
So that is, money aside, $20, whatever. But more importantly, you get to dunk on other people's stupid picks and call them stupid. And be like, how could you? Anyone could have known that. So just look for my bracket, because then you can just make fun of me all day long. I can take it. So because
we'll be doing that anyway.
I got Seattle versus Nashville in the final. That's right. I went down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Whoa. I like it.
Big
I
Zimmerman
absolutely like it. All right. I've got Nashville getting through to the next round, but getting knocked out by Philadelphia.
Never going to happen.
No, I like it. Hey, do you know what tomorrow is?
Sunday.
It's Sunday, November 21st. Do you know what happens 1 year from tomorrow?
It's Sunday. Monday.
I don't know what day it will be next
Monday,
year. 365 days from tomorrow, the World Cup starts.
Hey,
Qatar 2022 kicks off
awesome.
1 year from tomorrow.
Are we going to go and have all sorts of crazy regulations put on us where we can't have alcohol or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think We Are Soccer could be paying for trips to Qatar.
You got that type of money?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But once ESPN Plus finds out, we keep pushing all their games.
Once we convince the Qatari princes that this is like the premier show,
Absolutely.
they'll be like, hey,
We're
we're sending you a private jet. Yeah. I'll just show pictures of me with the national team. Be like, yeah, I interviewed these guys.
Done.
You know, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sending that jet right out there, Mr. Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll work. Maybe.
Hey.
But then they'll find pictures of you drinking alcohol, and then you'll probably get beaten and thrown in jail.
Ooh.
So, I mean, but I'm willing to take that risk.
Same here.
I'm willing to take.
You win some, you'll lose some.
Yeah.
I'm one for taking one for the team. So, if for me it means a little bit of jail time and Qatari in prison, and
You've done worse. You've been in worse places. You've been in worse places.
You know.
All right. Well, that's the World Cup 2022 starts 1 year from tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. Don't forget it runs November 21st through December 18th. So if you're making vacation plans, make sure you make them outside of that window, unless you're planning on vacationing to Qatar like us to watch the games.
On Thanksgiving Day.
I don't care that Thanksgiving soccer is on, and that's what we'll be doing.
That'd be fun, actually, if USA plays on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, that would be awesome. Do you know what kind of crowd?
What's going to happen.
Do you know what type of TV coverage that would bring? Oh, my
You
word.
could take that random blah, 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 draw the random picks of the dates, because I think there's always seeking behind things. I will bet money that USA is somehow playing a team on Thanksgiving Day. You heard it here first, mark it. Just like when I had a conversation before the draw in Brazil, and I was like, what do you think the chances are with USA drawing England in their group? And and that went down.
That absolutely happened.
Or no, that
Yes.
was that Brazil, or that was
2010.
Yeah, that's South Africa. So
Yeah.
it was like, it's going down,
It's
because
happening.
that's going to happen, because so long Matt lined up on a basically the anniversary too. You know, the first time they played. So it was
I think it'd be fantastic if USA got a game on Thanksgiving Day. We could
what will
blow
the Lions do?
football out of the
What
water.
will the Detroit Lions do?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the exact same thing this year and not watch them.
What?
No.
It's a tradition of
No,
watching the Lions
God.
get dump trucked now.
Exactly.
Can we shut down the Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day game and just air it?
How fun would that be? All right. I know you sit at home every day
I do.
watching Days of Our Lives and those soap operas.
Yep.
Are you a big fan of the soap opera that's happening
Sure.
over in France right now?
Bonjour.
Yeah. New information is now pointing to Eric Abidal's wife, who's filed for divorce, being the one responsible for ordering the attack on PSG footballer Kira Hamurai. It was allegedly revenge for sleeping with Abidal while he was Barcelona's sporting director, and Hamurai played for Barcelona. So, if you're not keeping up, there's been 2 players who play for the PSG women's team. One of them took we'll call it a crowbar to the knee, a la Tanya Harding type style. And it was thought that her teammate had ordered the hit on her. Now it's come out that Eric Abidal's wife ordered the hit on her because this player was sleeping with Eric Abidal. It just gets weirder and weirder. Meanwhile, the other player who was thought to have ordered the hit, she sat in jail for 3 or 4 days while everything went down. Her reputation's kind of ruined at this point. This doesn't look good for anybody. It's a soap opera. I mean, you literally couldn't write a better
What
script.
it turns out like it was all somehow connected.
I would love it. Would love it.
You do gotta feel bad for the person wrongly accused.
Yes.
If she was wrongly accused. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it's...
what happened to like revenge sleeping with one of Eric Abidal's friends?
Yeah, or his brother or something.
Yeah, I mean, do what the English people do. It's much safer. They just what?
Well, on that note, Nate, I think we're going to close up shop for the day. Oh, I know. We're going to end on that one. Crazy.
That's a high note to end on.
I know. We're going to end on that. Another week of We Are Soccer. I'm sure we're going to go live a couple of times this week, and then join us next week as we go live again at 8 a.m. Be sure to jump into the We Are Soccer Facebook group. Be on our Twitter. Let us know the games you're looking forward to, the scores, and everything that goes on. Please contribute to the We Are Soccer Facebook group. We love new people and members and posts. If it's got to do with soccer, we're going to talk about it, and we absolutely love it. All right. Until next week, until next time, we'll say cheers.